South Park has undoubtedly been one of the best TV shows for the better part of 3 decades, which is no easy feat. Only a handful of shows can last that long, let alone still be widely talked about. Matt Stone and Trey Parker created something unique in its nature. South Park is a crude commentary on society, and despite their controversies, they've stood strong. But if we can learn anything from good old Abe Lincoln over here, it's that if something is destroyed, it's gonna be from within. So today I want to talk about how South Park has changed over the years, and if it's been going downhill as of late, with season 26 wrapping up with a whopping 6 episodes. I think it's time for some retrospectives on what changed. Also, please subscribe and check out my channel for more videos like this. Let's get back to the video. In a lot of ways, South Park is undeniably different and has changed drastically over 26 seasons, which is expected of any show. Just look at the first 2 seasons compared to the more modern ones, or even the middle seasons. Season 2 is nothing like Season 10, and that's a good thing. You want shows to grow and change over the years, staying stagnant only leads to a downgrade in quality. But I'd argue that, in a lot of ways, the show has stayed the same. I don't think the show has lost its original identity over the years. But one point that I see said over and over again is that the show has gone too political, which is dumb. Like, really dumb.
You guys are dumb. Okay, Craig, interesting choice. Powerful stuff there, Craig. Thank you very much.
Since South Park's inception, it's always been political. Each episode has been some social or political commentary. Plus, given their unique ability to create an episode in less than a week, they can stay on top of any current event. This is unlike any other cartoon, or TV show for that matter, which usually takes 6 months to a year to produce. So the problem is not the politics. The issue, however, and the first point that I'm going to make, is how politics have changed in South Park. See, in the early episodes or seasons, oftentimes the show would parody or use social issues that complemented with the story. Take for example the season 6 episode, Aspen. The plot revolves around the boys and family taking a trip to Aspen, Colorado. However, once there, the show takes liberty in criticizing timeshare presentations and their absurd nature, not letting you leave until you sign up. And at the same time, we get a parody of 80s teen comedies, where Stan must race to save the youth center. Or take a more recent episode that's more political in its nature. The Last of the Mexicans comments on immigrations in the United States and Border Patrol. But the overarching plot is the boys playing an extreme version of the game Cops and Robbers, or Border Patrol vs. Mexicans. See, South Park is at its greatest when it takes a simple idea and makes it bizarre just simply by having it set in South Park. Each character adds their own personality to the situation, which can change the entire meaning or tone of the story. So what exactly do people mean when they say South Park has become too political? Because to an extent, I agree with that claim. It's just the reasoning that I don't like. Well, an easy example of this would be Season 20, which in some ways I respect them for making. But it pretty much represents everything that has gone wrong with South Park. And as for politics, the entire season focuses on the 2016 presidential election, which unless you're going back for the enjoyment of a serialized season, I do sometimes, the episodes feel meaningless. Having every episode revolve around Donald Trump along with Gerald, which is an interesting choice, makes the show age worse. But let's take a different episode like the Worldwide Privacy Tour, which is politics done wrong. Because there is no cover for the story, like how Last of the Mexicans talked about immigration, but it was through the game of Cops and Robbers. The entire plot revolves around Prince Harry and Meghan Markle trying to rebrand themselves. Yes, it was about their hypocrisy, but do we need the entire episode surrounding that? They also had nothing to say about the matter. The jokes were the same. Half the episode involved the two saying they want privacy over and over again.
We want privacy! 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 Can we rally him up here and finally have our own privacy? Hey, you! Hey! What are you looking at? You ever heard of privacy? Down with the monarchy! We deserve our privacy! We are here because privacy is a basic human right! Hey! You ever heard of a thing called privacy?
There may have been something there if they focused more on how people brand themselves. I thought it was funny how each option given to Kyle always had victim in it.
Hey, well, let's see how this brand works for you. We got Kyle, rugged, vegan, compassionate victim.
I don't don't think that's really me.
But it felt like a subplot and directionless. Plus, how many times have we seen the message of an episode be always be true to yourself? The episode felt like they just wanted to talk about a current event, but had nothing to say about it. They just wanted to use it in an episode for the hell of it. Compare this with Last of the Mexicans, which actually has a point to it. It didn't just bash on immigration or border patrol. Instead, they had something to say about how hard it is for immigrants to come to America and leave behind their families, or how Americans love their country and the border so much that they couldn't possibly understand why anyone would want to leave. Too political isn't the issue. Making plots revolve around specific political issues with nothing to say or unique angle is the problem. And because it feels directionless, it affects the plot and jokes. Instead of an episode slowly building up over the course of 22 minutes with a payoff, the episode seemed to almost end suddenly, like it's in the middle.
That's fine, you can all wear whatever you want as long as it covers your dick and tits. You can't make me cover my dick and tits.
I can't believe it's all over. What do we do now? What do you mean? Now we can finally play the game. Oh yeah. Okay, Kenny, add Eyes of the Beast to your hotbar. Stan, check your Fury talents to boost your shouts. Got it?
And this became a bigger issue when South Park became more serialized, because episodes would just end to set up the next one in an unsatisfying way. And this is the second problem, serialized seasons. And although I think season 25 and 26 have gotten better, since they moved away from serialization, there's no denying that it's been an issue for many years. And don't get me wrong, I don't think serialization is bad for South Park. In fact, it leads to some great episodes when used correctly. Every South Park trilogy has been a masterpiece because of serialization. Black Friday, Imagination Land, and The Coon and Friends. Even smaller things like Go God Go. But these were used in moderation and with purpose. So the issue is not that South Park is serialized, it's that they rely so heavily on it. Integrity Farms was great for a little bit, but once the entire show revolved around it and kept pushing Randy, it became too much. South Park has always been about wacky, crazy nature where anything could happen, but once you have to add in continuity and make sure each episode makes sense with the previous and upcoming ones, the show loses its sense of randomness. And regardless of if you like the episodes or not, I don't think you're going to get an episode like Licecapades again, which focuses not only on characters not seen before, but on lice living on Clyde's hair, or an episode like Good Times with Weapons, which takes liberties in making the show into an anime. Or take any Cartman-focused episode from the past, like Breast Cancer Show Ever.
Me? You're the one talking about killer titties. Watch out, guys. Wendy says boobs can kill people. Arrgh! Gonna get you! Gonna get you!
Now, imagine that episode, but with Heidi, and Cartman complaining about his relationship and how what he says affects their relationship. And I think this is why people praise episodes that get back to that feeling. Help My Teenager Hates Me doesn't just go back to focusing on the four boys again, but it's not entirely political and focuses more on airsoft and challenges that come with dealing with teenagers. And that's what the show used to be about, a group of 4th grade boys doing obscure things, and each episode contained that obscurity. When you have to worry about serialization, less obscure things can happen because you worry about the continuity of each episode, and if you do something too far, then it ruins the entire season. And the show leaving behind just focusing on the group of 4 boys leads to the third problem, which is adding in the adults and changing characters. Now, I don't hate adult-centered episodes, but like serialization, I think they should be used sparingly, or at least in complement with the boys. The season 18 episode, The Magic Bush, is hilarious because we get a complement of Cartman and Butters, but also Steven Stotch, who slowly goes insane throughout the episode while Butters stands in the background. But when the show becomes The Randy Show, with entire episodes surrounding him, it loses a lot of what made the show great in the first place. And this is also the case with PC Principal and Mr. Garrison. I understand that they want to start adding in more side characters like Butters or Token, Jimmy, things like that, and also the adults, but the show still needs to revolve around the 4 main characters. But even then, when you start changing things like Cartman not being a racist, terrible person, it ruins why people like him. The whole point to his character is that he's a rude sociopath. When you start changing him into becoming a better person and in a relationship where he's caring about Heidi now, it's like, who is this person? We haven't seen him before. And as I said before, I think season 25 and 26 are taking steps in the right direction. They may not be the best, but I think they're trying. They have started to move away from serialization. We still have continuity, like Tegrity Farm still there, although it's now in the background. The show seems to be going back to the four boys themselves and expanding more on some side characters. The one issue I do have with the seasons, and this goes back to my first point about it being too political, is not that it involves politics. Instead, I think they focus too much on current politics. Almost every episode is centered around a current event, which doesn't make it bad necessarily. I love the deep learning episode, but I think that's what people mean when they say it's become too political. It's that every episode now is focused on a specific current event. And I think that's why episodes like Help My Teenager Hates Me, as I mentioned before, or Japanese Toilets have been received so well. Yes, Japanese Toilets does focus on Randy the whole episode, but it does get back to the bizarre nature in which South Park used to be.
You'd think the World Health Organization would do studies to find alternatives. So why don't they? Because toilet paper is an industry worth billions and billions of dollars.
And I think that's what people want. They want what made them fall in love with the show in the first place. Now I could go on or analyze different episodes, but it's pretty much all I want to say for now. Maybe I'll make an episode in the future talking about it more in depth or specific episodes. And if you like this video, please watch my other ones. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.